So I'll time this out. Unfortunately, it's not doing a great job of one radar into another. So this is a very, very fast moving storm. Let's see, can I get it? This is 47 miles per hour. So it's not it is slowing down just a bit. So Broussard 940, St. Martinville 950. Personally, I think this storm will be knocking on your doorstep even quicker than that. It says 940 in Broussard, but believe me, I think this storm's going to move through at about 937. St. Martinville moving through at about 947. Caroline moving into the area at 10:04, probably closer to about 9:58 to 10 o'clock, and then out of the area by then. But this is an incredibly fast-moving storm. This is a tight area of rotation that we continue to monitor across the area. I'll get rid of this right now because, again, we are dealing with a tight area of rotation. We're seeing that occur on the south side of Lafayette. So please, I beg of you, if you are in the path of this thunderstorm, please heed caution. This is a very strong thunderstorm with the capability of producing a radar-indicated tornado, and that's why that tornado warning is in effect right now. So that we also have that tornado warning in Vermilion Parish. We continue to monitor that. Fortunately, it does look a little less impressive right now, but whoa, okay, so let's go outside. This is what we're dealing with right now from our Hub City Tower Cam. Things are getting very dark outside. We are losing. Is it spinning or is it?
I don't know.
Okay, so as you can see, take a look outside. This is incredibly, we are dealing with, well, whiteout conditions right now from the heavy rainfall that is falling outside, and the winds are blowing that rain sideways. This is our tower camera, and the lightning is creating that strobe light effect. I apologize if that has an impact on you at home, but this is a very, very dangerous thunderstorm. Again, it continues to slide off to the east at 55 miles per hour. This is an incredibly fast moving thunderstorm that we continue to monitor as it slides off to the east. It will be impacting highly populated areas on the south side of Lafayette, including portions of Youngsville, Broussard, crossing Johnson Street as we speak right now, heading towards, looks like perhaps Ambassador Caffrey next. So it isn't a super tight area of rotation, but this is what we're watching. Again, this is a very highly populated area of Lafayette. If you're driving down Johnson Street, pull over now. Get away from this storm. It is sliding off to the east. Fortunately, it does look like within this last radar sweep, we've seen an improvement here, so not as much of a couplet as what we're dealing with. But nonetheless, we are dealing with incredibly strong gusty winds. Anytime you see these beige colors down to the south, we are dealing with incredibly strong straight line winds, much like what we saw across portions of the area earlier. My gosh, look at what we're dealing with, the straight line winds moving through Maurice right now. We are dealing with winds gusting upwards of potentially 94 miles per hour. This is a very eerily similar situation to what we saw on Monday. This is an incredibly strong thunderstorm rolling through the region, and it is doing so very quickly right now. If you are in an area where you are susceptible to, if you're in an area where it's a poorly structured region, please move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors or in a mobile home, or if you're in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Power flashes are going crazy by the mall right now, and that's according to meteorologist Adam Olivier. We are also dealing with this thunderstorm impacting Lafayette. As we speak right now, it's moving out of Scott, moving through Carencro, Broussard, Youngsville. Within the next couple of seconds, Breaux Bridge at 9:35. So that's right now St. Martinville at 9:40. But to be honest with you, this thunderstorm is extremely dangerous right now that we are dealing with. So again, kicking up straight line winds of up to 94 miles per hour. So fortunately, that tornado warning in Vermilion Parish has been canceled. We are now concerned about this tornado warning that is impacting areas of Lafayette as we speak. So again, we are dealing with incredibly high straight line winds. This is an area that we're watching particularly. So we are dealing with a little bit of a notch potentially developing in the Youngsville area. But if you are anywhere along this line of storms as it continues to slide off to the east. It is racing across Lafayette Parish right now at 55 miles per hour. And you see these little bows here. This is where we could be dealing with some extremely strong winds. These bright colors that we're seeing, the bright beiges or deeper browns, that's an indication of winds gusting anywhere between 80 to 100 miles per hour. Now, I will preface this. This is a couple thousand feet above the surface. But as we look outside right now, we are dealing with, oh wow, that is a gate of 102 miles per hour. That is an extremely strong wind gust that we are dealing with. So with that, we are also continuing that tornado warning for Lafayette Parish and St. Martin Parish until 9:45. Please, if you are in the path of this thunderstorm, seek shelter immediately. This is an incredibly dangerous thunderstorm as it continues to slide across the region. I'm going to continue to show what we're looking at. This slides off to the east at 55 miles per hour. It is a very dangerous thunderstorm that continues to impact highly populated areas on the south side of Lafayette. Radar imagery shows not only tornadic potential, but also some incredibly strong straight line winds. Seek shelter immediately. And to reiterate, please stay away from windows, move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. If you are outdoors or in a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. This is what it looks like outside right now. This is an incredibly eerie video that we are seeing from our tower camera right now. So it does look a little bit like a strobe light display that we are dealing with. But keep in mind, we are dealing with heavy rainfall that is being pushed by these extremely strong gusty winds and a tremendous amount of lightning associated with this thunderstorm. When you see this much lightning, that just goes to show to the instability that we're dealing with and the convection and all that mixing that is involved with these thunderstorms. So this is an incredibly dangerous storm that we're contending with. Unfortunately, visibilities are so poor right now, we can't see more than just a couple feet from our tower camera. So again, I cannot emphasize this enough. This is an extremely dangerous tornado warning that we are dealing with across the area. This, let's see, this will continue until 9:45. So we're going to maintain this tornado warning as it continues to slide off to the east at 55 miles per hour. Let's see another update from our velocity profile on our radar imagery. And again, we are dealing with some extremely strong winds associated with this thunderstorm as it slides off to the east. Anytime you see these dark beiges, closer to tans and browns, we are talking about winds gusting upwards of 80 to 100 miles per hour. Yes, this is a couple thousand feet up, but keep in mind, the extremely strong and heavy downpours that we are dealing with right now allow us to push those winds down to the surface. And that's why we could be looking at 80, 90, 100 mile per hour winds on the south side of the parish. But we are also dealing with an incredibly strong line of thunderstorms up and down through Acadiana. We're dealing with some power flashes here in the building as we speak. So I anticipate that we are going to be dealing with a tremendous amount of power outages across Acadiana. So we're going to continue to line this thunderstorm as it slides off to the east. This particular area, the nose of it, moving to the east at about 55 miles per hour. So again, I'll time this out. I'll slide this to the east, and it's going to impact a lot of areas. Again, impacting highly populated areas of Lafayette Parish. New Iberia, you're under the gun at 9:41. Jeanerette at 9:53. Franklin at 10:07. And then it moves out towards the Capital District of Baton Rouge at 10:19. So again, we are no longer dealing with a tornado warning down in Vermilion Parish. Nonetheless, we are dealing with some extremely strong winds associated with this line of thunderstorms now moving into Vermilion Parish. We switched radar sites coming from Lake Charles, and now we are getting this information out of the Hammond radar site. Now, with that in mind, anytime you see these bright blues that we are seeing here on the south side of town, that is an indication of very strong winds. Go ahead, Michael.
Severe thunderstorm warning with a destructive tag.
Okay, so with a destructive tag. Okay, so let's go over those details.
80 miles per hour with nickel-sized hail.
Okay, so this severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Lafayette Parish, Iberia Parish, St. Mary Parish, Vermilion Parish, St. Martin Parish. At 9:39, a severe thunderstorm was located over Maurice or near Abbeville, moving to the east at 60 miles per hour. This is a destructive storm for Youngsville, Cade, New Iberia, Jeanerette, and St. Mary Parish specifically. 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts, nickel-size hail. Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be heavily damaged. Unfortunately, we've already lost one soul out in Cecilia because of a mobile home or an RV. Expect considerable damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles. Extensive tree damage and power outages are very likely. So again, this strong gust of winds continues to slide through the southern portions of Lafayette Parish, now moving towards Iberia Parish right now. Let's see if we can see any improvement from our Hub City Tower Cam right now. So these winds are extremely strong. This is a very, very scary scenario, folks. Please seek shelter immediately. We're going to try to provide another perspective. This is our new Iberia tower camera. It looks like our Hub City tower camera right now is failing us a bit. Okay, I'm going to turn this a bit to the west. So this is new Iberia. Let's see if we can provide maybe a little bit of a better perspective from the outside looking in, because frankly, what we're seeing in Lafayette is just too much chaos to really show on the air. Now, you can see a little bit of lightning flashes here in the distance. We're trying to point in the direction of Lafayette, but again, we are dealing with quite a bit of lightning. Now, there is a tremendous amount of lightning associated with this thunderstorm, but to be completely honest with you, there is so much heavy rainfall associated with this thunderstorm that is actually obstructing our ability to see some of the lightning in the distance through that rainfall. So again, to reiterate, a tornado warning continues for Lafayette Parish and St. Martin Parish for the next couple of minutes. This is an extremely dangerous line of thunderstorms. So again, if you are in the path of this thunderstorm in particular, please seek shelter immediately. This area outlined in black, this is a severe thunderstorm warning with the capabilities of creating a lot of destruction. This is exactly what we saw on Monday, this type of thunderstorm, where not only did we have a tornadic threat, but we also had to contend with the threat for straight-lined wind damage. So again, this severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Iberia, Lafayette, St. Martin, and St. Mary parishes with the possibility of creating destructive winds. This is sliding off to the east at 45 miles per hour. But remember, we're still going to continue this tornado warning for about the next, say, looks like minute or so. So we're going to maintain this tornado warning. I will let you know if this tornado warning will be extended or if they're going to allow it to expire. Nonetheless, things are starting to creak in here. It's freaking me out a bit, to be completely honest. This is a very dangerous thunderstorm that we are dealing with. It is moving to the east at 55 miles per hour. So in addition to the tornadic threat that we're dealing with, this tornado warning that should expire here within the next 30 seconds, is there an extension to that tornado warning, Michael?
Not sure just yet.
Okay.
I will keep looking, though.
Okay, by the way, we have meteorologist Michael Crowley in-house. He's helping us out here this evening as well. The severe thunderstorm warning moving to the east at 55 miles per hour, impacting Iberia, Lafayette, St. Martin, St. Mary parishes. This is radar-indicated winds of upwards of 85 miles per hour. So if you notice, I'm moving around a bit. We're dealing with such strong winds right now, it's actually shaking the scaffolding a bit here in the building. So that's why the camera, which is hung from the ceiling, is vibrating and it makes me look like I'm swaying. But this is actually the camera that's moving, not myself. So go ahead, Michael.
We have street flooding ongoing in Crowley, halfway across LA Highway 13. And it looks like someone said that it's subsiding near KADN and Mall in Lafayette, but I don't think that's happening just yet.
Okay, so again, let's take a look at radar imagery from what we, I'm sorry.
We also have multiple power outages from Milton to central Lafayette. Winds estimated 50 to 60 miles per hour in the city of Lafayette.
Okay, so strong winds associated. All right, I see that. What was this? Our phones just went off again?
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
think the tornado warning, I think the tornado warning
Oh,
was
the
dropped.
tornado warning has expired. Nonetheless, we're going to stay with you because tornado warning or not, anytime we see a severe thunderstorm warning with this black outline, this is an extremely dangerous storm that we are dealing with that continues to slide off to the east very quickly at 55 miles per hour, if I'm not mistaken, 60 miles per hour. So the increase in the forward momentum of this line of thunderstorms shows that we are dealing with some very strong winds that is actually pushing this forward. It actually, from this direction, it's pushing it through the Lafayette area. Go ahead, Michael.
Strong winds associated with this storm are coming through Lafayette, causing widespread power outages. 80-mile-per-hour winds expected across Lafayette, Iberia, and Upper St. Martin parishes. Power outages and power flashes are being reported in and around Lafayette. Current observations in Arnaville are 50 to 60-mile-per-hour gusts with torrential rain, which is what we're seeing on all of our tower cameras so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, we're seeing even more of a deepening in these colors with our velocity aspect. Now, by the way, for those not familiar with what velocity does, basically it looks at the raindrops and hailstones and all the raindrops and so forth associated from this thunderstorm that fall from the sky. And these winds are either blowing it towards the radar site or away from the radar site. And with that, this radar imagery is able to measure the speed at which those rain droplets and hailstones fall from the sky. So right now, anytime we're seeing these darker beiges, we have a little bit of an imperfection here with the radar site in purple. This is not something we're watching. Nonetheless, 97-mile-per-hour winds, but it is raining so hard right now that those winds are getting forced down to the ground, and that's why we're seeing winds gusting anywhere between 80 to 100 miles per hour across portions of Acadiana, mainly
So,
across southern portions of
We
Lafayette.
now have a tornado warning coming in for Parks, Breaux Bridge, Henderson, and Catahoula.
Okay, so I see exactly what they're looking at right now. We're going to zoom into that location. You can see a little bit more of a twist. So this is the area north. Oh, wait, hold on. What am I looking at? Because I see an area that could be impacting around St. Martinville. Unfortunately, let's see if we can
I think
switch.
it might be near Cankton.
Okay, there we go. Oh, wow. Okay, so there's two areas that we're watching. One area in particular, just to the east side of Lafayette, there are two areas of rotation, one a little bit more impressive than the other. So I'm going to circle these for everybody at home to show exactly what we're looking at. This is one area over St. Martin Parish, and this is another area right now on the east side of Lafayette sliding to the east, and this will be heading towards the Breaux Bridge area. So both of those thunderstorms are sliding off to the east extremely quickly at about 60 miles per hour. So again, this one up to the north will be impacting the Breaux Bridge area. And then we also have extremely high winds rolling out of Youngsville and into St. Martinville. Go ahead, Michael.
Adam has commented in the chat with the National Weather Service and said multiple power flashes rolled through on Robley Drive. He said there was an audible roar with the building shaking, and he could hear some suction in the video.
Okay, so I have my producer in my ear. Cohen, I just want to say, you said you're getting it ready right now. Well, perfect. Okay, so we'll have video here coming out here in just a few minutes. I'm going to provide another aspect from our tower camera.
Tornado warning
Exactly.
came in.
What's that?
Tornado warning has now been issued for Iberia Parish and St. Martin Parish.
Okay, so to
Moving east at 60 miles per hour.
Okay, so again, this is what we're looking at. Here are the specific details with this tornado warning.
It's over the one in St. Martinville.
Okay,
So-
it is. Yeah, it's the one down to the south. So
Yes.
this one over St. Martinville, moving to the east at 60 miles per hour. This is a dangerous storm and will be near Catahoula and Butte La Rose around 9:55. One of my buddies, Brian, he's a good security guard. He lives in Butte La Rose. Brian, if you're in the vicinity of this storm and you aren't working tonight, please seek shelter, brother. This is a very, very dangerous thunderstorm. Please take cover now. Move to an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors in a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Just to kind of get back to what I'm saying in terms of being safe. Myself, Michael Crowley, Adam Olivier. From time to time, we go to area schools and we talk to a number of kids about tornado safety. One of the things that we tell them, not only to go in an area that is very safe, but also wear protective headgear. Many kids play sports, whether it's football, whether it's baseball, maybe not so much hockey down here, but even if you're riding a bike with a helmet, put that helmet on and cover yourself. Use your arms and your limbs to kind of cover your head, tuck down in an area that makes you, safe from flying debris. This is a very dangerous storm as it continues to slide off to the east at 60 miles per hour. So we have that tornado warning in effect. Let's continue to see.
So that tornado goes until 10:15 Central Time right now. That is going to be in the next 25 minutes. So if you are in Iberia or St. Martin Parish, this will be for you.
Yes. So here is the outline of that tornado warning that we continue to monitor. In fact, let's take a look at our New Iberia, or Queen City of the Tesh camera in New Iberia. First and foremost, let me put up the details for that tornado warning. It includes Iberia and St. Martin Parish. This is a radar indicated tornado warning until 10:15. But also you have to keep in mind, this rain is falling so hard right now that it is incredibly difficult to see a potential tornado. This could potentially be what we call rain wrapped. And not only are we dealing with nighttime conditions hindering our ability to potentially see a tornado, but the rain exacerbates that situation and makes it worse. And it just looks like a whirling dervish right now with the heavy rainfall potentially impacting what could be a tornado on the ground. Go ahead, Michael.
We're getting reports of hail in Youngsville as well.
Okay,
We also have a flash flood warning in effect for Lafayette, and let me go back and read it. This is for Youngsville, Erath, Delcombe, Dusson, Broussard, pretty much everybody in, what parishes are those?
Okay, so that would be Lafayette Parish.
Acadia, Iberia, Lafayette Parish, St. Landry, St. Martin, St. Mary, Vermilion, the entirety of KDN, it sounds like.
Okay, so there are two areas of concern that we're watching with this particular thunderstorm complex. So again, velocity measures the speed at which the rain is falling, not so much straight down, but either toward the radar site or away from the radar site. These deep browns that we're seeing here is an indication that we could be dealing with winds gusting upwards of 80 to 100 miles per hour. But that rain is falling so heavily that it pushes those gusts down to the south. Look at that gate. That's 111 miles per hour. Granted, that is a couple thousand feet above the surface, but keep in mind that rain will push those winds down. Furthermore, this is the area of concern for a possible tornado. Unfortunately, this is just south of that same area that was impacted on Monday, where we had that tornadic weather roll through. I'll zoom into that location as we speak right now. So this is where we're dealing with the possibility of circulation moving over areas just to the south of Henderson. If you are in Breaux Bridge, seek shelter immediately. This is now slid off to the east, but we're still dealing with the possibility of rotation just outside of Breaux Bridge. But unfortunately, now we're looking at the possibility once again of something potentially tornadic moving in a direction of the Atchafalaya Basin Bridge, which is exactly what happened on Monday. So
We
again,
have a report from the Lafayette Regional Airport of a wind gust at 69 miles per hour.
69 miles per hour.
Yes.
So again, on Monday, we had a wind gust of 78 miles per hour. Now we're reporting a wind gust at Lafayette Regional Airport at 69 miles per hour. This is the area of concern where we could see rotation as that slides out to the east. Very dangerously, it's moving pretty close to parallel to Interstate 10. And we are now getting video, is it out of Robley? Robley Drive? Robley Drive. Let's go to that video right now. Look at the winds again. See if, I'm going to stay quiet here for a second. I want to see if we can hear the roaring winds. that is extremely powerful video.
We're also getting more reports now from St. Martinville that there is hail from one of our team members here at News 15.
Okay, all right, so this is what it looks like right now outside the hub city. Conditions have improved dramatically here. We are dealing with an intense amount of lightning, but fortunately visibilities have improved dramatically here in the hub city. Unfortunately, one of those locations where conditions have deteriorated across the area is down in New Iberia. This is what it looks like from our Queen City of the Tesh camera. This thing is rocking and rolling, folks, and that shows the gusty winds that we are dealing with right now. I'm gonna try to tilt this down, and I'll point this in a direction of downtown. This is actually looking down, I believe, to the east. I got to get my bearing straight here. Okay, so that's looking out to the east. I apologize. I know I'm swinging this on the air around. So hopefully it doesn't cause too much disorientation. But this is what it looks like in New Iberia at the moment. This is an incredibly dangerous thunderstorm rolling through the area as we speak. So just to reiterate what we're dealing with across Acadiana, we have that tornado warning that continues until 10:15 for portions of St. Martin Parish, a potential tornado on a radar indicated tornado moving to the east at 60 miles per hour. It does look like
I'm thinking right below Parks. That's what it looks most impressive to me.
Okay, let's see. Oh, this is the wrong one. All right, so actually, I'll tell you what, we are looking, okay, there are two areas. I'm not too crazy about what's going on north of St. Martinville. Still keeping a close eye on what's going on south of Henderson. I don't know if our radar site has kind of frozen a bit, but I'm not seeing too much here. This looks like a very similar frame to what we're dealing with. But also, keep in mind, you can see how we're dealing with these bows. Basically, if you look here, it's almost like a snake that kind of sets up. Anytime you have these bows that pushes that line forward, that's where we're dealing with extremely strong straight line winds. And we are dealing with winds gusting in excess of 80 miles per hour. So we have a bow feature here. We have a bow feature here. What we saw on Monday and what we're looking at here is the fact that we had a bow feature, and then to the north of that bow feature, we almost had like a little bit of an eddy effect. If you've ever gone canoeing or kayaking, you put the oar through the water, and once that oar lifts up, you'll see a little bit of an eddy forms. That's what we're seeing right now. My producer is telling me we are getting video out of Bro Bridge. Cohen, take it away. Okay, so again, you could actually hear the audible roar with those thunderstorms. Those thunderstorms, again, creating extremely high wind gusts across the area. And this is where we're dealing with the possibility of a little vortice developing, or a vortex, I should say, as it slides, again, right along Interstate 10. This is eerily similar to what we saw last time. The difference was we had that tornado kind of jog down to the south and to the east a bit, or it was moving to the east and took a little bit of a jog down to the south. That was what we call a right-hand mover. This one is actually moving a little bit more parallel to the east, but we're seeing a little bit more of a tightening once again associated with this particular thunderstorm. So that's why we're still dealing with that possible area of rotation. Now, to be completely honest with you, this looks rather broad. Not really all that organized at the moment. But again, we are dealing with some extremely heavy rainfall rolling through the area, and obviously some very strong gusty winds. I'm also getting reports of no power in Youngsville and in Bro Bridge. Hail is also falling in Youngsville as we speak right now. So we are dealing with tremendous amount of power flashes across the area. We're getting some updates from the National Weather Service. We are also dealing with a wind gust of 66 miles per hour at New Iberia's KADN Airport. That was at 9:45, so that was just 15 minutes ago. So let's take another look outside of what we're saying. By the way, I'm going to save that frame right there. And again, as these storms continue to slide off to the east, this is now out of date. I am going to get rid of this and replace it with a new time frame. So fortunately, the worst of the rain is beginning to push off to the east, but we're still dealing with some incredibly heavy rainfall across portions of Acadiana with that severe thunderstorm continuing to slide off to the east with a destructive tag associated with it. So this is moving anywhere between 50 to 60 miles per hour. I'm going to split the difference and just put it at 55 miles per hour. So many of the locations that we're seeing are just outside the viewing area. However, as we take a look at Franklin, you're going to be under the gun here within the next 10 minutes. This is a very dangerous thunderstorm as it continues to slide off to the east at anywhere between 50 to 60 miles per hour. But again, where that bow is taking place, that's where we're dealing with a little bit more of some forward momentum, which is allowing these storms to slide forward that much quicker. So again, we are dealing with a broad area of rotation, but we are dealing with extremely high winds associated with this thunderstorm. Not only that, we're also dealing with dangerous conditions for our friends out in Baton Rouge. But here, that's where we're seeing the possibility of a little bit of rotation. You can see how, actually, I'll tell you what, I'll circle this right now to show you exactly what we're looking at from a meteorological standpoint. This is the area that we're watching. I cannot believe how eerily close this is to what we saw on Monday. This is just to the south of Henderson. I really feel for the folks out there who had to deal with that tremendous amount of damage associated with that tornado that barreled across Cecilia and moved through Henderson. We are looking at an eerily similar signature developing this time just to the south of Henderson. So it's not quite north of Interstate 10, just on the south side of Interstate 10, but there are some roads out there that kind of connect the two. So we are pushing it farther to the east towards the Atchafalaya Basin, but there are still some folks that live on the outside skirts of Henderson, and unfortunately, many of those structures are poorly built. So again, get to the lowest floor of a secure building, away from exterior walls, and we're also away from windows. Do we have an update with the severe thunderstorm warning?
New severe thunderstorm warning for St. Landry and St. Martin.
That's correct. This thunderstorm warning will continue until 10:30. At 10:02, severe thunderstorms were located at a line extending near Millville to Henderson, moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. Now it does look like at this time the wind gusts are subsiding a bit down to 60 miles per hour. This is radar indicated. And I have to be honest with you, this signature that I'm looking at right now, as we got a new update from the radar frame that just came in, it does not look good. This is south of Henderson. I'm going to zoom into that particular location, get rid of this circled feature right here. I don't want that to be a distraction. So what we are looking at is this area in particular. This is just to the northeast of Parks, south of Henderson. So it is a little blurred because right now, unfortunately, we are basically halfway between both radar sites, the one out in Lake Charles and the one to the west in Lake Charles, one to the east in Hammond. Sometimes it kind of gets a bit muddled once you get very far away from those radar sites. So this is an area where we're watching with potential rotation. This is just to the south of Henderson. It must be probably 3-4 miles south of the track of that last tornado that rolled through. And unfortunately, not saying that we're dealing with anything confirmed on the ground. However, this is eerily similar to what we saw last time, and that's why we're dealing with that tornado warning that continues for portions of St. Martin Parish until, I believe, 10:15, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll tell you what, let's see what we got here. Yes, until 10:15, Iberia and St. Martin Parish. Again, this is a radar-indicated tornado. Nonetheless, it is still extremely dangerous. So we're going to go over some power outages as we speak right now. Lafayette Parish, more than 5,000 customers are without power. Acadia Parish, 2,000 customers are without power. We're also dealing with Jeff Davis Parish, about 1,000 customers without power right now. We are dealing with a wind gate just to the south of Breaux Bridge of 128 miles per hour. That is alarming because that is extremely similar to what we saw again with that last tornado that rolled through Cecilia and Henderson before. Again, this is what we're looking at in terms from a meteorological standpoint where we are seeing an inflow notch. So basically, okay, so where is that?
That's in Butte La Rose.
This is okay.
Just to the south of Henderson.
So it is moving towards Butte La Rose as we speak right now. Let's see if I can. This is going to be a bit muddled here, and we'll see if we can actually. I want to get rid of.
Just a reminder, it's moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour.
Okay, so.
No, that's the severe thunderstorm warning. Excuse me.
Yeah, so this is where we're looking. It looks from our Hammond radar site, it looks a little bit more muddled. But nonetheless, this is an area just to the south of Butte La Rose. Yeah, it's moving down to the south of Butte La Rose. And then we were dealing with a potential thunderstorm or a potential tornado moving away from the Catahoula Cove area. So we were beginning to move over the Atchafalaya Basin. But at the same time, there's still some sparsely populated areas that are going to be under the gun to this tornadic storm. So potential tornadic storm. Ricade, am I saying that correctly? No, okay. Yeah, Ricade. So that is going to be one area that we are going to continue to deal with. Again, this tornado warning will continue for roughly the next 8 minutes as it continues to slide off to the east at 60 miles per hour. So let's see if we can see any more improvement. Not from that. All right, let's take a look at what we're dealing with. That tornado warning has kind of been chipped away a bit, the back end of it. It continues until 10:15, and we're also dealing with this severe thunderstorm warning across portions of, let's go over the details right now. So, okay, I'll tell you what, we do have some video from our creative services director right now, Anthony Sterling. If we can show that right now, Cohen, go right ahead. Okay, so this is video that is coming from his Ring doorbell on the north, from North Lafayette right now. So again, these storms are moving through the area where they are creating, they're setting off a lot of Ring videos across the area just in the nature of these storms. So to reiterate, the severe thunderstorm warning continues for portions of Iberia, Lafayette, St. Mary, and St. Martin parishes. Let's see if we can come back inside here for a second, Cohen. Okay, so here's that severe thunderstorm warning. What we're watching is this black outlined polygon right here. This other one is farther out to the east. This is not our concern. However, if you have friends farther to the east, please notify them of the dangerous capabilities of this storm. This severe thunderstorm warning will continue until 10:15, so roughly another 7 minutes or so. Radar indicated 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and unfortunately, we could be dealing with the possible quick spin-up of a tornado. Go ahead, Michael.
Could you maybe spend a second saying who's in the clear? Maybe Villeplat and Opelousas, if they are going to be seeing anything else?
Yeah, sure. Now, we are actually, fortunately, dealing with the back end of these storms beginning to move into the area, and that is to the west. So, although things are quieting down, I'll tell you what, let me save this particular spot right now, and I am going to put radar. Again, so zooming up and zooming out, lifting up to the north, there are a couple areas where conditions are improving, but it's still very, very active down to the south right now. So the severe weather threat for a lot of us up to the north is beginning to wane, and that includes areas of Evangeline Parish, much of St. Landry Parish. We're still dealing with blustery conditions in Acadia Parish, but we're also dealing with some lingering thunderstorms moving to the east. So this is going to clip right along the border of, Jefferson Davis Parish out towards Acadia Parish, moving into St. Landry Parish as well. Tremendous amount of rainfall falling down to the south. We're also dealing with widespread flash flooding across Acadiana. But again, the severe thunderstorm warning with the capability of creating destructive damage continues for about the next 5 minutes or so. We're also dealing with call it a run-of-the-mill severe thunderstorm warning for portions of northern upper St. Martin Parish, as well as far eastern St. Landry Parish. This is going to continue here for the next few minutes, but conditions are beginning to slowly improve. Go ahead, Michael.
They have announced that the tornado warning will be allowed to expire.
Okay, so that's some good news. That means that that tornado warning that will continue will expire here in roughly 5 minutes. These storms are continuing to slide off.
It is not expired.
Okay, is it expired or?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, so again, we are dealing with a tremendous amount of lightning associated with these thunderstorms. Let's see if we can put this into motion because again, this is over the last hour. I'm going to slow this down a bit just to show everybody what we're dealing with. These storms are very impressive in nature. So again, a tremendous amount of lightning, but we are dealing with some improving conditions. In fact, I'll expand this out farther, and you can see, although we are dealing with some storms developing along the coast, once we get rid of this main batch, especially up to the north, conditions are going to quiet down, but we're still dealing with the possibility of some lingering convection that could kick up an isolated storm or two into the early morning hours. Along the coast, this is now where we're going to shift our focus for the possibility of a potential water spout moving on land. We're also looking at what we call training, where we're dealing with lines of thunderstorms moving in the same direction, like a caboose, one over, or I should say like trains on a track, one following the same, following the same. This is going to create a flash flooding concern along the coast. But we are dealing with a tremendous amount of lightning associated with this line of storms. Conditions do continue to improve across the area. Let's take a look at the wind field. Are we still dealing with some gusty winds, extremely strong winds out by the Parks area? And now we're dealing with another batch of winds kind of picking up a bit towards Youngsville. Now, a process that we saw on Monday that is something we're going to have to watch out for in the wake of these thunderstorms is what we call a wake low. And basically, it's an area of low pressure that's rather small in nature, not one that encompassing several states, but instead maybe a few parishes at the very most. And that's after everything clears out. And then all of a sudden, you just see those winds really, really ramp up. And that's something we're going to have to watch closely because that could create kind of secondary damage across the area after that main batch of storms roll through. So again, we're still looking at the possibility of a little bit of a notch, but it is now moving over the Atchafalaya Basin. Things are beginning to improve farther to the west, but you can see we're still dealing with some incredibly strong winds in between Henderson and St. Martinville. These are straight line winds that we're contending with, and we're also dealing with some strong winds to the east of New Iberia. But you can see how there are in some locations some isolated areas where we're seeing some downdrafts, and in the wake of that system, seeing a little bit of an inflow that is creating some very strong winds. Let's see, we have some updates from the National Weather Service. Trees down at the Cane's restaurant in Lafayette, uprooted on West Congress. We are dealing with numerous trees down throughout the east side of St. Landry Parish, reports of high winds in Melville, and multiple trees on homes in Crot Springs. Parish government en route to confirm. We also are dealing with,
we have a new severe thunderstorm warning issued for Iberia Parish.
That's correct. Okay, Iberia Parish, Lafayette Parish, St. Martin Parish, and St. Mary Parish. Now, we are dealing, let's provide an update with that specific thunderstorm warning that we are dealing with right now. I'm going to save this. Let's see what we got, because again, the tornado warning will be expiring here within the next couple of minutes. However,
so this new severe thunderstorm warning has winds of 70 miles per hour and penny-sized hail.
Okay, so we will get rid of the destructive damage, but we are going to include a considerable damage tag with these storms as they continue to slide off to the east. So this is exactly what we're talking about right here. Again, considerable damage with winds gusting upwards of 70 miles per hour. I'll put this in a more feasible location so you can kind of see those storms as they slide off to the east. I might lose it here. There, I'll slide that to the west, or slide that over. We're going to continue to see this tag.
Severe thunderstorm warning for St. Landry and St. Martin has been canceled.
Okay, all right, so it's 10:15. That storm has now expired. We have a new severe thunderstorm warning for portions of Iberia, St. Martin, St. Mary parishes, but this is more or less the eastern side of the area. So again, we've gotten rid of the black bordered thunderstorm. That is the most dangerous severe thunderstorm that we could see, excluding a tornado warning. But with a little bit of a purple outline, which might be a little bit difficult to see because we also have our parishes outlined in a thinner black outline, This thunderstorm warning continues for Iberia, portions of Lafayette Parish, St. Martin, and St. Mary Parish. This is radar indicated winds up to 70 miles per hour. So although we've gotten rid of the destructive nature of these thunderstorms, we could still see some considerable damage with these thunderstorms as they continue to slide off to the east. Furthermore, down to the south, these thunderstorms are moving at a slower rate as opposed to ones up to the north, which are raking across the area and created that incredibly eerie video that we saw right outside the studio. So speaking of which, let's do a little bit of a tour day at KADN. Take a look at some of the cameras that we're seeing here across the region. I'm going to save that. And again, we have numerous tower cams. This is what it looks like in New Iberia at the moment. So we are dealing with, let's see if I can get this to load here. Again, I don't see, okay, so there are a couple things that I do want to show. Although we have a good amount of power here in the foreground, again, the rain has lightened up a bit in New Iberia. Although we are seeing a good amount of raindrops falling on this camera, this is kind of one thing I want to bring your attention to. We have plenty of light here in the distance, or in the foreground. This is where we would normally see light from Highway 90 illuminating the horizon. That's something that we're not seeing right now. That means that there is a likelihood of power outages across portions of Iberia Parish. Let's take a look at what we're seeing here as we take a look at the Hub City Tower Cam. This is pointing out in a direction to the west. While I'm doing that, can you do me a favor? Go back to the Iberia Tower Cam and see if you could swing that around, see if we can get any more confirmation. This is the Hub City Tower Cam as it looks off to the east. Again, we are seeing quieter conditions, but we're still dealing with some dangerous lightning across the area. As we take a look at the Church Point Tower camera, again, conditions continue to improve, but we're still dealing with a tremendous amount of lightning there. And then one last time, let's take a look at the Crowley Tower camera. Again, we are looking at, well, a frozen camera. So our camera is, well, it's not doing great right now. Let's see if we can shift this out farther to the east. Okay, this is kind of what I want to show. So we're going to go back to the New Iberia, the Queen City of the Tesh camera right now. Although we are dealing with the parking lot here right across the street from the community bank, you notice this parking lot in particular is illuminated, but it looks almost like there's nothing in the distance. This is Highway 90. We are looking almost due west. It's just kind of parallel to Lewis Street right now. There is hardly any lights. Maybe you could see a little bit here and there, but this is usually somewhat illuminated, at least along the horizon where we could see a decent tree line. That's only getting lit up by the lightning. So again, we are dealing with some, unfortunately, widespread power outages across portions of Acadiana. So let's see if we can provide any more updates, because it does look like we got rid of that tornado warning across the area, and it does look like slowly but surely things are beginning to improve across the region. And
the only communities we have left essentially are Jeanerette, Franklin, and Morgan City, still in St. Mary Parish. Morgan City is the only one that hasn't seen the line of thunderstorms come through just yet.
Okay, so at this point, let's collect our thoughts here for a second. Let me get rid of what we're dealing with right now. Actually, I'll tell you what. Is this what I want to show? Nope, that's not it. That's an old one. Okay, so this is the final severe thunderstorm warning that we're dealing with right now. This will be moving to the east. What's the speed? What's the progression of this thunderstorm down to the east?
In St. Mary Parish?
Yes, it's the one that is in effect until 11:15.
Moving east at 70 miles per hour with 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and penny-sized hail.
So this is moving very, very quickly.
Fast.
Okay, all right. So again, this thunderstorm in particular has the possibility of creating considerable damage. This is a bit of a downtick from what we saw earlier this evening, but we're still dealing with some dangerous thunderstorms.
So let me just name a couple of cities that this will still be in for. There's Morgan City. Portions of Jeanerette are going to be in this as well. Sycamore Point, Stevensville, Avery Island. Portions of Broussard, I think that's a little bit more towards the north. Delcombe, perhaps, and other portions of Iberia Parish and St. Mary Parish.
Okay, so again, we're still dealing with thunderstorms that continue to slide off to the east. Fortunately, this little bow that we're seeing here, well, I don't want to say fortunately, it is moving through lower St. Martin Parish, sliding to the east, and we're also dealing with some heavier rain and gusty winds moving through St. Mary Parish as well. New Iberia, Jeanneret, still under that severe thunderstorm warning, capable of producing considerable damage. And we're also dealing with that severe thunderstorm warning, creating considerable damage across southern portions of upper St. Martin Parish. But rainfall, although it continues across the area, we are dealing with improving conditions. Let's see what we're dealing with right now. So again, it's a lot better than what we saw just a couple hours ago, or I should say just about an hour ago. Let's put this into motion. I'm going to save that. Let's see. So again, these storms continue to slide off to the east pretty quickly. Let's see, we'll zoom into a few locations. Very heavy rainfall that continues to move through New Iberia and Franklin. And then again, these storms are going to continue to slide off to the east. This is over the last hour. So unfortunately, now we're going to shift our focus to the possibility of flash flooding across Acadiana. Let's see if we have any updates with that tornado watch. That will continue. That looks like it has been extended. But, you know, frankly, I think with this initial line of storms rolling through, we'll likely see that tornado watch being chipped away slowly but surely across the region.
So we also have a report of nickel-sized hail in the Rivers Bend subdivision, which is covering the ground. The power is out in Sunset to Arnoldville. That is according to Entergy Service.
Okay, so again, that tornado watch has been extended until midnight, but keep in mind, for areas up to the north, I do think we are going to see that tornado watch getting chipped away. So that includes portions of Evangeline, St. Landry Parish, portions of Jeff Davis, Acadia Parish, even here in Lafayette Parish. I do think we are going to see the cancellation, or at least allowing that tornado watch to expire. Well, we have video off of, what was it? Okay, this is off Broadmoor Boulevard in Lafayette. Go ahead, Cohen. Okay, all right, great.
We also just got a report of a roof.
Okay, so now we're dealing with a number of flash flood warnings across the region. I'm going to cancel. Some of these are a little bit old, so we'll just get rid of them altogether. There are two main areas of flash flooding that we are concerned with in terms of the flash flood warnings across portions of Acadiana. This includes the Hub City. That one includes Iberia, Lafayette, St. Martin, and Vermilion parishes. That is until midnight tonight. We are dealing with an extremely high amount of rainfall falling across the area. And then for areas up to the north and to the west, so this includes Acadia, Evangeline, and St. Landry Parish, that too is a flash flood warning in effect until midnight tonight. So again, we are dealing with extremely high rainfall rates across Acadiana. That has led to the possibility of flash flooding across the region. I'm going to slide this over. I just lost them. Okay, so I'll provide a little bit more of a graphic here we can save just to reiterate this in the future. So we have a flash flood warning in effect for Lafayette Parish, St. Martin, Lafayette, Iberia, St. Martin, Vermilion, and it does look like a small sliver of St. Mary Parish as well. That is until midnight. And then farther up to the north and to the west. So this includes, it does include Acadia, Evangeline, St. Landry Parish. That too is a flash flood warning that's in effect until midnight tonight. Let's see if we can pull up some estimated Doppler rainfall totals across the Acadiana over the last 24 hours, because again, it's been fairly impressive. Now, in terms of officially at the airport, this likely will be a bit outdated considering we did have some rain here within the last half hour. But as far as what we saw officially at the airport, we saw some very impressive rainfall rates. We're just about a little over an inch, almost an inch and a quarter of rain between 9 and 10 o'clock alone. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Say that again, Cohen. Okay, this is video off of KLAF Saloom Road.
Tell you, Dan, that guy's way braver than me standing right there.
It's a very impressive video coming out of South Lafayette. This is KLAF Saloom. So again, very dangerous storms that roll through the area. Give you an idea how much rainfall we've seen. These are Doppler radar estimated rainfall totals, and this is part of the reason why we are dealing with the flash flooding concern across portions of Acadiana. The widespread greens that we're dealing with, we're talking about rainfall totals anywhere between 2 to 4 inches. And again, this all occurred tonight. This is within the last 24 hours, but things were pretty quiet 24 hours ago. Anytime you start to see these yellows develop, that's why we're looking at rainfall totals approaching 5 inches of rain. Farther out to the north and to the west, we saw rainfall totals exceeding 5, close to 6 inches of rain. So again, this all fell within the last several hours, and this is why we're dealing with those flash flood warnings across portions of Acadiana. Now, officially here in Lafayette, we didn't really receive as much rain officially at the airport between 9 and 10 o'clock. So that's 1 hour. We saw 1.19 inches of rain, but it's 10:27 right now. So that was between 8:53 and 9:53. So within the last 35 minutes, I'm sure we received a little bit more than the 1.19 inches that we received in that previous hour. Nonetheless, you can see how we're dealing with some paler blues here. That's an indication of rain anywhere between, when you see the blue and the green mixed together, that's roughly an inch or two of rain. So Doppler radar estimated rainfall totals are pretty much on par for what we saw across Lafayette Parish, but up to the north, much, much higher rainfall totals across the area. And unfortunately, that's why, going into today, we had that flash flood warning in effect. So we are still dealing with those flash flooding concerns across Acadiana. I'm going to stop this, see if we can take a look at another, again, of our tower cameras across the region. So fortunately, that severe thunderstorm warning out to the east, and I'm going to clean this up for you because I know with all the chaos, to be frank, it's a bit organized, but, it's kind of a little bit of a messy room that occurred. When things go a little crazy, you tend to just, if you ever worked in a kitchen, you know what I mean. It takes a little bit of time to clean up the pots and pans when the kitchen's at full steam. So we continue to deal with this severe thunderstorm warning. Fortunately, it has been downgraded once again. So not only did we get rid of the destructive tag in terms of damage, but we've also got rid of the considerable damage tag associated with this severe thunderstorm warning. So this is, technically a run-of-the-mill severe thunderstorm warning with winds capable of 60 mile. This storm capable of producing 60 mile per hour wind gusts as it slides to the east. At this point, our main focus is going to shift from the severe weather to the possibility of flooding. Now, fortunately, draining down to the south is much better than it is up to the north. But again, this severe thunderstorm warning is going to continue in Iberia, St. Martin, and St. Mary parishes for the until 11:15. So As far as the winds go, we're still dealing with some pretty strong winds across portions of Acadiana, now well to the east of the I-49 Highway 90 corridor. We're still getting hammered pretty hard with some lingering wind gusts across portions of Upper St. Martin Parish. So again, pretty nasty weather that continues to roll through the area. Let's see what we're dealing with. There's a report of a roof blown off a home in St. Martinville. We're trying to get an address. That is let's see, nickel-size hail in the Rivers Bend subdivision covering the ground, and the power is out in Sunset. So that is up to Arnoldville as well. So we're reiterating some of the information that has come in from the National Weather Service, and our partners over there are telling us that the severe threat has pretty much come to an end here in Lafayette Parish. Unfortunately, well, that's as of 15 minutes ago. So again, conditions are going to dramatically improve for a lot of us along the I-10 corridor up to the north. But again, as we put radar into motion, unfortunately, we're still dealing with some fairly active storms that are sliding along the coastline or along Cameron Parish. They're going to continue to slide to the east. We're dealing with some very heavy rainfall rates down to the south across portions of Iberia Parish, Lower St. Martin Parish, as well as St. Mary Parish. And this storm is going to continue to slide off to the east. So what we're watching right now, again, is this complex here. This is going to continue to kind of slide in the direction.
I'm Taylor Trichet. Get your midday news and weather on News 15 at noon, weekdays right here on KLAF NBC.